Ah, here it comes now. Well, a few years ago, a friend of mine, a very dear family friend, opened a little tea room in La Mesa. And I have to say, I really have my doubts about whether or not she could really make a go of it. But that little tea room has been packed since the day she opened it. And to explain why the popularity of tea, our English expert joins us here this morning, Giles Hilton from Whittard of Chelsea. Now, the first thing I've got to ask you is Americans absolutely butcher the name of your company. Did I get close?
You were very close indeed, yes. And there was an old Mr. Whittard who was my teacher.
Mr. Whittard.
Mr. Whittard.
See, because we're going to look at this and we're going to say, yeah, that's Whittard tea.
Yes.
Let's have some Whittard tea, everybody.
Come on, you're not...
Boil it up.
Yes, I know. It's the American accent, you see. It's a different world over here, isn't it?
Totally. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. Let's get a couple of the misconceptions out of the way very quickly.
Okay.
The little tiny finger, when people are picking up their cup.
Bit pretentious, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's kind
of... Well, I suppose, what else do you do with it?
It's a little boorish affectation.
Yes, it can be overdone.
As we say out in the East County. Yeah?
Yep.
So that's a little pinky? No.
Not necessary.
Scone or scone?
In America, it's definitely scone, and in the north of England, I think it's scone, and in the south of England, it's scones. It's literally a regional difference.
So if you say scone, that is correct, but most of the people in America will say scone, and they won't get a slap on the wrist from you for doing that.
No.
Let me see. Was there another question I had? Wasn't there one more? There was a proper question about... Oh, afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea.
People here, they love to say they're going to high tea. I was always told that was just the tea that the servants had sitting on their high chairs in the kitchen.
That's a possibility. I think the word has been hijacked a little bit, and therefore used to mean a very smart tea. Really, afternoon tea is the best expression because it is the proper event mid-afternoon.
All right, now I know you're going to be down at Horton Plaza today at Whittard of Chelsea, showing people how to do this.
Tasting and brewing. Yes.
Tasting and brewing. So give us a little sample today.
Well, what I thought to start with was afternoon tea. You would choose Earl Grey, or you would choose perhaps Darjeeling. In other words, you would choose a classic, proper English tea and make it quite light. You wouldn't always have sugar and milk with that. Then it all fell out a little bit and changed, and I found a tremendous cake shop here, Shakespeare's, English again, Shakespeare. Right. So I stuffed myself full of their cakes and decided I would abandon that sort of tea.
What?
And I would make my own. I would abandon it, and I would make my own.
You're making your own blend here for us today. Okay.
Various reasons. One, green tea. I'm always been asked about green tea, and you can have green tea as an afternoon tea, just like
this is Chrissy's question because it's all the rage, right? It's supposed to be so good for you.
It's so good. So is black tea. Black tea isn't actually bad for you. The sugar and milk you put in it possibly is.
Okay.
Yeah. So green tea literally looks green. It's Japanese green tea, and so I'm starting with that, literally blending as we go.
Now, this is what you do for a living, and you've done this since, what, 1976?
Yes, so a few years practice, yes.
And you were an apprentice when you started in 76?
I was literally an apprentice, so I was tasting and trying to blend for about 5 years.
And this company's been around forever?
Yep.
Since
1886. So 100 years of Whittard, yes. And we were selling classic tea in those days, black tea, strong tea, English tea, a bit of Earl Grey, a bit of Darjeeling, that was it. So flavoured tea and actually green tea wasn't that well known.
Relatively new.
Yeah. And literally, to flavour it, I got apple, I feel like one of these TV chefs, don't I? I have some apple pieces.
You keep this up, and trust me, we're going to need to fill a few holes around here, and we might give you a whole show of your own.
Sunflowers, which are lovely and sweet. They're very nice. And this makes a great idea for a flavoured tea. Mallow flowers, which aren't as sweet as rose petals, but actually look quite nice.
Now, if somebody wants to do this themselves, can they actually do the blending, or is that really something probably best left to you?
I tell you what it's like cooking. You can buy all sorts of herbs and spices, and it's up to you how you use them. We do this in Whittard, so we actually have a blend table, and you would go in there and you would create something like this, but you need to have the idea first.
So you can come into the store at Horton Plaza and actually do this, and actually create.
Yes.
Wow.
And so having stuffed myself full of cakes, and then decided I should blend something, the secret really is the oil. We use natural oils. We have vanilla, and this one's mango. We have different oils to flavour the teas with.
Beautiful.
And that is really what makes a difference, because a shot of that, and give it a quick mix.
They tell me we're almost out of time.
Right, so we'll have a smell.
Beautiful.
Quickly. And that's mango, most definitely.
Wow.
And that's green tea. Like the kitchen chefs, I poured some earlier.
And may I try some?
Please, yes. And you'll find it's just lightly mango, not too strong. It is slightly green, definitely, but that's why I've made it weak. You mustn't make green tea strong.
Okay, so if it's really dark, green tea,
it's bitter if you make it too strong. So what do you think? Would you feel refreshed with a very good English-made cake, nearly, from Shakespeare's.
That is so good.
And a relaxing, soothing cup of tea. So I'll take the cup for the next part.
That is delicious. All right. Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing this with us. And please enjoy your stay. And again, do I need to apologize for that little tea party thing in Boston some years ago? Or?
Past.
We're over that? Okay.
Thank
goodness. Thank you. We got a free pass on that one. We'll send everybody down to Horton Plaza to see you down today at Whithard of Chelsea.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Giles. Great to see you.